Giving up the goods. We did a video about this a little
did.
bit ago. And people went crazy on that too. Like everybody went crazy, but they're talking, which is what we want people to do. Thought-provoking contents. Stop withholding sex from your husband. Stop withholding sex from your wife. Stop doing it. Give it up. And you know what happened with that video?
People started arguing about laws in the 90s from making women lay down in marriage.
The point is that people often go to the exception instead of the rule, right? We're not talking about the exception. There will always be exceptions to everything in life. But we're talking about the rule. We're talking about in general. We're talking about the regular married couple where the woman is saying, nope, I don't want to do it. I have a headache, but she get her tail up to go to Amazon and work for 19 hours. Or the guy that won't make his wife feel comfortable enough to even want to be intimate in any way because he's calling her fat and ugly and dirty and she's not who the corn star is that he really likes. All of that type of stuff. That is what we are talking about. We're not talking about the exception to the rule.
We're not talking about the one day that you have a headache.
Right. It's like, oh, I can't do it. I can't go outside anymore because one guy got struck by lightning. Like, no, go outside. We're talking about the norm, okay? Yeah. So let's talk about this real quick for our audience. And let's start. I got a place we can start.
Okay.
Why do you think it is that there's so many sexless marriages in America? And we'll stay here on the continent, in America. So why do you think that is?
Okay. Well, I think people are overbooked. They're overstimulated and they are not they just forget about their spouse. They don't prioritize their spouse.
That's deep. I did not expect you to start there.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want me to start somewhere more shallow?
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to start like your personality.
What?
Shallow. No, I did not expect you to take it there because people are overbooked. Yeah. And I think that's the first time I've heard you say that.
Well, they say yes to everybody else. Yes, I'll go visit this friend. Yes, I'll go do this. Yes, I'll go volunteer here. Yes, I'll go play this sport. Yes, I'll go do this. And then they come home and they're wondering why their husband feels neglected, or their spouse, whatever. Their spouse feels neglected and they don't have energy for sex. And then they just fall in, before you know it, they're in a sexless marriage, which is like 10 times or less per year.
And I'm sure how the enemy works too. The enemy will tell you while you're in your dating phase, right? Take your clothes off. Get in there and do it. It'll make you feel good. You feel better. Turn them out. Freedom. Make them feel good. Sex. And then once you get in a marriage, which is the place where you should be having sex.
The one place you can, really.
He says, put your clothes on.
Keep him on. He don't need it.
He don't deserve you.
He's got 2 hands.
You see what I'm saying? That's real deep. That is the way that the enemy does that. Gets you into this covenant, gets you into this space where you should be having sex, and then tells you not to.
Right.
And then when you're outside of that covenant, when you should not be giving yourself and spreading yourself around.
Spread it all over town.
Seeds everywhere. And that's crazy. And then you wonder why you get into the marriage and you have little to give to the marriage, right? Because you've done everything. You can't do what's new now, because the last boyfriend, you were doing the spin around on the ceiling fan, land on top of him, bop, good, right? And now you get into marriage and now you want to be conservative. Right. Oh, I don't do that. Let's try this missionary. Look me in my face.
I'm a pillow princess.
Yes. Like, wait a minute. Why is it that you want to be that now in the marriage, but then you were being G.I. Jane outside of the marriage?
100% to everybody else.
That's crazy.
And you gave you saved 10% for your husband.
Yes. So that's ugly. Now we also want to talk about just a little bit as far as that. We want to talk about the men's side of that too. Okay. Because a lot of people don't talk about the men's side. They only talk about the women's side. Well, she's got, a headache, or she's bloated, or she doesn't feel good. She's tired and all this type of stuff. Well, what about men? When you're not having that engagement with your husband, what does that do for him? What does that do for him? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about the fact that you're sending this man out in a world, right?
Right.
And he is full of temptation, ill-equipped. Yeah. Right? Because he came to you, spouse, wife, hey, bae, give this to me. Give this gift to me that I'm equipped to go out in this world and say no to Big Booty Keisha. Because Big Booty Keisha is ready.
Right.
Big Booty Keisha always
She's
ready.
slanging all over town.
You know what I'm
Anybody
saying?
can have it.
I'm sorry for everybody named Keisha. But Big Booty Keisha always ready to give it up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you send this man out here just unequipped in this world, and you just saying, "Oh, he ought to be strong enough to just resist that." Oh, it's nothing. It's easy,
right?
But it's not easy, and it's not just a nothingness. You know what I'm saying? Because he's coming to the source that he's supposed to be getting that strength and that connection and that power from, and you're telling him, "Nah, you know what? You know what? I don't want to do it tonight. My head hurts, or my leg hurts, or
not
whatever."
Tomorrow night either, because my back's gonna hurt, and not Wednesday night because I'm gonna be too tired.
You know
and
what
not
I'm
Thursday
saying?
night because I'm out late.
Look, if your head hurts, your hands ain't hurting. If your hands hurting, your mouth ain't hurting. But, you know what I'm saying? Put it between her knees. I don't care. You know, whatever the case may be.
Find a new hole.
Like, girl, your ear looking real good right about now, girl. You know, but you have to find a way. It doesn't, like, that intimacy doesn't always have to look vaginally.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's a couple ways, but you know, that's a real thing.
I think another main point is just selfishness.
Mm.
Like, you know, you can be all worried about your needs, and not even fathom in your mind how your spouse, not your partner, we don't do partners here, how your spouse feels, what his needs are, what his desires are. Does he feel neglected? Does he now not feel desirable? Like, now is he, you know, like, if you're a selfish person and you're in a marriage, your marriage is in trouble.
It's in trouble. Yeah, and I agree. So, and that's a very dangerous thing. So that's why we always try to make sure people understand the value of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Men have to understand the intimacy part of, you know, the sex. You know, they have to understand. They have to learn that, because women, see, y'all can go long. Y'all can go long and strong just all day. Man, 2 rounds, maybe that's it's over. It's over. You need, you know what I'm saying? You on crutches after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I gotta recover. You know, and I get that, but a woman has to feel like she is at a peaceful place, in a protected space, in order to engage in that type of activity. Most of the time, I mean, you got your freaks. Like I said, Big Booty Keisha, you ain't got to do nothing but bring her some hot fries.
She just got to slip and fall on it.
Whoops, just kidding. It's just like what? But for the most part, the woman that you're married to, she wants to know that you love her, especially if she's had children and all that stuff. Her body, all that stuff makes a difference.
She usually needs the emotional connection first.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep her tank full with emotional connection and attention and intimacy before the bedroom, you should be good, unless she's selfish and she's overbooked.
Overbooked. Yeah, and we have to think about the surrounding things, like saying that's what she means by overbooked, right? Because there's so much that goes on before the engagement of it, right? And if you're spending, again, 10 hours at work, and you've got all this stuff going on, you're stressed out with kids, all this type of stuff matters when it gets to the point of the intimacy portion of it. So,
because mentally, you just won't have any more room to be able to think about that. Yeah,
and we oftentimes neglect and minimize the person that loves us most. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? We give all our time to our jobs, our careers, and our coworkers,
our
friends,
hobbies,
all of that stuff, and then at the end of it all, we say, "Oh, you know what? Let me give this little 3% to this person that's supposed to love me."
Yeah, and then wonder why they're still not satisfied.
Absolutely,
they had little crumbs.
Little crumbs from the dum-dum.